This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Work is continuing to airlift thousands of Manitobans to safety as wildfires continue to rage around the province. The Canadian Armed Forces once again called in to help get people out. Hercules planes have been running nearly around the clock in areas like Garden Hill. The Premier says on Thursday there was at least 7 flights done with the help of the Armed Forces, bringing people to Winnipeg. More flights left today as the full evacuation of 4,000 Garden Hill residents continued as the province looks to house roughly 12,600 evacuees from northern communities. Hotel rooms are in short supply. Roughly 500 of the evacuees that arrived yesterday spent the night at an indoor soccer complex on Leela Avenue, which has reopened to help shelter for people. Now that smoke from the wildfires is drifting throughout the province. It can spread and be carried thousands of kilometers from fire zones and impact air quality. As it rolls in, it brings with it health concerns as people are advised to limit their time outdoors. CBC's Mike Arsenault checked in with how people are dealing with it.
A misty layer of smoke can be seen across the Winnipeg skyline. At Winnipeg Folk Festival, it's the same issue. Thomas Dawson is attending all weekend with his wife and 3 kids, and he's doing what he can to endure.
We brought masks just in case because we figured headaches might be coming up. We brought Tylenol and everything too. We were a little bit leery on whether we should be coming today.
Dawson says he's gone to Folk Fest for the past 12 years, and he's never had to worry about air quality.
It's just been really a different year with all of the forest fires.
You can see the smoke all around. You can smell it and even taste it the second you walk outside. Folkfest is sold out for Friday, so the smoke hasn't deterred people from coming. Festival organizers say they're focusing on keeping people informed.
We have a Folk Festival app and we do push notifications to let folks know what is the air quality index at this point, what are some tips for them to follow.
Sarah Goke chose to wear a mask for the day. It's her first Folk Festival. She drove up from Rhode Island to enjoy it and is unsure how the weekend will go.
I have some underlying health issues, so we're discussing whether we'll just stay today. We were going to camp the whole weekend, but we might just stay today and then look for a hotel.
Chris Pascoe is with the Department of Physiology and Pathophysiology at the University of Manitoba. He studies the relationship between wildfire smoke and lung disease. He says people will likely experience some symptoms from the smoke, even if they don't have any underlying health issues.
With how it was this morning at about 5 a.m. when it was at its peak, it was about being outside for an hour is equivalent to smoking a cigarette. So it was pretty bad.
Dawson and his family are playing it by ear.
I think if we start getting headaches and just not feeling well, then we'll probably pack it in early, and I guess we'll just reassess tomorrow.
Pascoe says Winnipeg is currently 7 or 8 times over federal limits for air pollution. Mike Arsenault, CBC News, Birds Hill.
Now, concerns over air quality has the province moving some patients out of Thompson. The smoke and fires near there are still out of control. 33 patients from the long-term personal care home have now been sent to Flin Flon. And while there are no current plans to evacuate the hospital in its entirety, the province says 5 patients from 1 ward have been transferred. Meantime, firefighters have spent the day adding sprinklers and value protection equipment to key areas around properties. The city has issued what it's calling a pre-alert notice, saying while there is no mandatory evacuation, an order may be issued within days. The city says a fire near Cross Lake could reach Highway 6, which would prevent travel south. If an order is issued, people will have 12 hours to pack up and leave. Let's bring in Riley Lachuk. Riley, that smoke, a real cause for concern in many areas of the province today.
Yeah, that's right, Brittany. Air Quality Health Index in Winnipeg at a 10 plus throughout the day today, and you can bet that if that scale from Environment Canada went higher than that, it would be substantially higher than that. It's when you get into some of these oranges, pinks, these red colors, that is when we're looking at that smoke being at its thickest concentrations, and that's what we've been stuck in for a good chunk of the day through the Red River Valley, parts of the Inner Lake. As we get into Saturday, again, we're still looking at poor air quality into eastern Manitoba, into northwestern Ontario as well. We get a bit of a break from that as we get into the day on Sunday, but again, slight shift in winds brings some of that haze back into southern Manitoba from fires that are burning in northern Saskatchewan down into the parkland, into Riding Mountain National Park, and some smoke from fires in northern Manitoba back into parts of southeastern Manitoba once again. So virtually all of the province either under an air quality warning or an air quality statement. We've seen a little bit of instability throughout the province as well. We'll talk a bit about that and your weekend forecast just ahead.
All right. Thank you, Riley.
You're welcome.
Meantime, in Saskatchewan, a raging wildfire has entered the northern village of Beauval. The fire spread to the town of nearly 700 yesterday and has already destroyed a number of buildings. As of last night, no homes had burned down. There's no word of anyone hurt by the towering walls of fire. The mayor says flames approached town from two sides. Private donors are stepping up to ensure a long-standing outreach group can continue working despite losing its government funding. St. Boniface StreetLink says it will continue to help the homeless regardless of if the province pays or not. CBC's Matt Humphrey has the latest.
So you guys did the pickup?
This is how Marion Willis spends her day.
So we're sorting it out right now.
Directing her outreach teams to get homeless people off the streets and into housing. Now, after some uncertainty, her St. Boniface StreetLinks team will expand thanks to a generous donor.
That particular donor actually paid off the mortgage at Marbrick House last year, and then also allocated $2.5 million, $500,000 a year for each of the next 5 years with a message. Marion, this money is to ensure that St. Boniface StreetLink stays in the game.
The city of Winnipeg used to fund 3 homeless outreach organizations: Main Street Project, Resource Assistance for Youth, and St. Boniface StreetLinks. But last week, the city gave Main Street Project an exclusive contract to work with people in encampments. It was a blow to StreetLinks, but now Willis's outreach team will be expanded to 18 members.
I owe it to the donor community. It's been the donor community that is the reason why we have been able to produce the outcomes that we produce.
Sometimes these encampments are also causing huge problems with community.
It's welcome news to Daniel McIntyre City Councillor Cindy Gilroy, who was critical of the city's decision to focus on Main Street Project.
Their outreach workers, the majority of them are all people with lived experience, so they're going to be able to really connect with people in a way that some of other outreach workers can't.
Thursday night saw a gathering of concerned residents and community groups at the Norwood Community Centre, all in support of StreetLinks. Willis says the whole episode has only hardened her conviction, and she'll be pursuing her goals with a renewed vigor. Matt Humphrey, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A 23-year-old Winnipeg man has drowned in Whiteshell Provincial Park. RCMP were called to Caddy Lake around 1:30 yesterday afternoon. It was reported 2 men went into the water, but only 1 resurfaced. The missing swimmer was found and pronounced dead at the scene. It's been 10 years since Thelma Crawl left her Winnipeg home for a morning walk and never returned. And police are now pleading for people who may know something to come forward. On the anniversary of her 2015 disappearance, the Winnipeg Police Service is once again asking for the public's help. Police say despite hundreds of tips and thousands of hours put into the investigation, it remains unsolved. 3 years later, the 57-year-old's partial remains were found by hunters. Anyone with information is asking to contact police. Non-emergency calls to police are soon likely to be answered using artificial intelligence instead of a real person. A pilot project testing the new technology began nearly a year ago. During that time, it was only answering calls a few hours a day. Now police say they're ramping up the AI service in a few weeks, and it will eventually be offered 24 hours a day. The goal is to help address high call volumes and reduce wait times. Police say 900 non-emergency calls come in daily. To the south, where Donald Trump says he's going to impose 35% tariffs on some goods imported from Canada starting August 1st. The threat was made in a letter on social media addressed to Prime Minister Mark Carney Thursday night. In response, Industry Minister Melanie Joly says Canada needs to further strengthen trade relations with trusted partners.
We need to make sure that while the US is closing its market and really taking its own path regarding protectionism, that we, as a stable and democratic country, continue to have open markets, including with the EU.
The hike is expected for goods already hit with a 25% import tax. According to the White House, free trade compliant goods would be exempt, and Canadian energy and potash stays at 10%. The original trade deal deadline of July 21st was agreed upon by both countries. The Prime Minister says he'll work towards a revised agreement by August 1st. He's calling a cabinet meeting for Tuesday. As folkies from near and far hit Birds Hill this weekend, other Canadian music festivals are being forced to scale back. The latest on the festival landscape ahead. The 50th Winnipeg Folk Festival opened last night at Birds Hill Provincial Park. After a couple of difficult post-pandemic seasons, the festival is thriving again, even as other Canadian music festivals scale back or even close their doors. CBC's Bartlett Kivas reports.
I eat before my supper. I eat before my lunch.
On the opening night of the Winnipeg Folk Festival, you can learn when Fred Penner likes to eat sandwiches. You can see how fans let their friends know where they are. And you can meet people like Gary Conway, who's been to every festival for 19 years.
We like the energy and the spirit of the place, the vibe. Yeah, it's just so open and comfortable, and it lets people be who they want to be for at least a brief period of the year.
Conway's not alone. The festival expects 15,000 paying customers a day at Birdshill Park this weekend. No mean feat in a summer where other festivals are struggling or shutting down, like the Regina Folk Festival, which went dark this summer after 55 seasons. Festivals are getting hammered by rising artist fees, a punishing U.S. exchange rate, and a drop in disposable income after several years of high inflation. But the Folk Fest keeps packing them in, partly because they don't take big swings at the most expensive, well-known artists, even during a 50th anniversary year.
That's our primary function, is as a Discovery Festival, to turn people on to things that they don't know that they would necessarily want to hear, to watch musicians play with each other and foster that spirit of discovery and community, which is a big part of the experience here.
Manitoba's second largest music festival doesn't have the same latitude. Doffin's Country Fest is less eclectic. It mainly books country artists, and country artists charge some of the most expensive performance fees in music.
Even in the last 7-8 years, the artist prices, some of them have doubled and tripled what you're paying for a big name entertainer, gone from $1 million to $3 million for an appearance.
Paid attendance at Dauphin is down to about 6,000 fans per day, but Country Fest and the Winnipeg Folk Festival are surviving thanks to small armies of volunteers and strong connections with their audiences. But they're both aware of what's happening to other outdoor festivals.
We take no pleasure in being solid while we have good friends who are struggling.
Winnipeg Folk Fest continues through Sunday. Bartley Kivas, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Tennis fans are watching Wimbledon in London, but Winnipeg is also hosting a tennis tournament this week. The 2025 Winnipeg National Bank Challenger runs through the weekend at the National Bank Tennis Hub in West St. Paul. Along with some world-class players, there are young, unsung heroes who make sure the game runs smoothly. CBC's Zubina Ahmed reports.
Rolling, throwing, retrieving, and delivering tennis balls. 60 such young ball kids are on the same courts as world-class tennis players at the Winnipeg National Bank Challenger happening this week.
I like really watching the players and their resilience through the match, watching them get some good hits and helping out them with the balls.
I really like watching tennis, and being that close to the players is really fun.
Nancy Chappell-Pollock, manager for the tournament, ensures these kids help ace the game.
The ball kids are the people that provide retrieval of balls. On the sidelines when they do a changeover, they provide them with shade, they provide them with water, towels, anything that they may need. But mostly it's just to keep the efficiency of the match going on.
Chappell-Pollock says ball kids are positioned at different corners of the court and the net to ensure smooth flow of the game. The kids follow the golden rules of the game seriously.
To always watch if there's a ball coming or when to roll it on a first serve and second serve, and to always make sure if the player's about to serve, don't throw it yet and then just wait till he's done.
Tennis-wise, it works in your agility and your speed, because you always have to be watching the ball and going fast. It works on your reaction to balls, which you also need as a tennis player.
And what about their favorite tennis heroes?
I used to like Nadal, but now that he's retired, I'm more looking at Sinner or Alcaraz.
Probably Leylah Fernandez.
Okay. And what about you? Do you like tennis?
Yes.
And who's your favorite player?
Sabalenka.
And do you guys aspire to be ball kids at the Wimbledon or the Australian Open anytime?
Yeah. We'll try to.
For some, it's a thrill of the sport, while for others, it's a dream of rubbing shoulders with some of the best players. Zubina Ahmed, CBC News, Winnipeg.
There you go. Those bulkheads helping them out with sun, with the sun, with getting some shade, some water. The one thing they can't help with is that smoke that we're dealing with.
Yeah, and it's the type of conditions where you really want to make sure you take precautions if you have to be outside. I know some folks work outside, so it's a type of conditions where you need to put a mask on, maybe limit the time that you spend outside at one time.
Take a break.
Exactly, yeah, that's what I was trying to get at there. I mean, a little bit of instability across the province today. A few thunderstorms rolling through as well. Temperatures 23 degrees in Winnipeg. Officially our daytime high for today. This was actually reached at midnight. And we were hanging around 22 degrees over the course of the afternoon across much of the Red River Valley today. A bit cooler back to the west, 19 in Brandon, 21 in Dauphin, 24 in the Pot today. Still seeing a little bit of instability. Environment Canada did issue a weather advisory for the formation of some potential funnel clouds in Westman through the afternoon. Did see some reports on social media of a couple of photos of some funnel clouds in the west this afternoon, and still some thunderstorms into northwestern Ontario. This briefly sparking a tornado warning in the area around Sioux Lookout, east and north of late this afternoon. That is all pushing to the east as we get through the evening hours, as will much of this instability. I think we'll get a bit of clearing by the time we get into the morning hours on Saturday. Certainly sunnier back to the west. Still a bit of cloud into the Red River Valley, I think, and into northwestern Ontario. So calling it a mix of sun and cloud through the day. But that haze certainly sticking around as we get through the weekend. Saturday, before we get a bit of a break into Sunday, but generally speaking, we are looking at those smoky conditions persisting across much of the province as we get through the weekend. Then our next feature rolls in. This is a low pressure system over northern Manitoba. Not a lot of rain, unfortunately, in this one, but it does give us a few showers or some periods of rain here and there to parts of northern Manitoba. We'll talk numbers in just a moment. As we get through Sunday, though, I am watching another system south of the border that could bring us some rain here in the Red River Valley as we get into Monday. So pretty negligible in terms of rainfall in the south unless you run into some of that shower activity or a stray thunderstorm, but looking at the potential for 5 to 10 millimeters even into parts of northern Manitoba. Obviously, we need more than that, but we'll take what we can get in terms of the wildfire fight at this point. Temperatures rebounding slightly as we get through the weekend. Saturday, Winnipeg, 26 degrees, 27s into the west. Looking at temperatures getting a bit warmer as we get into Sunday, 28 for Portage, Winnipeg, Morden, Winkler, 27 into Brandon and Dauphin. And there's that chance of showers as we get into northern Manitoba. Monday, looking at some showers rolling through the afternoon, Brittany, 23 degrees and temperatures staying pretty cool through the first part of next week at least. We'll talk about that in your 7-day forecast.
Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Canada's energy regulator has approved liquefied natural gas exports through Hudson Bay, but that won't happen anytime soon. A company called Nistanan is studying the feasibility of building a new port near the mouth of the Nelson River. It could take years, billions of dollars, and require other approvals. The Premier says his government has not signed on to the idea.
We're doing the legwork to try and get ready and make sure that the partners that we need to have on side have their concerns around ownership and decision making and environmental aspects all looked after. And then when we feel like things are in a good place and all the partners are ready to move forward, then you'll definitely hear more from us.
An earlier effort to build a port along the Nelson River was abandoned more than 100 years ago. Still ahead, a new take on little free libraries, how anglers on PEI are catching up in our daily lift. Stay with us.
How about a Friday surprise, a double dose of Feline Friday for you? First off, Hermione, thank you, Ted. Very, very cute. And one more for you, just because I felt like doing two today. Tom, thank you, Lauren, and for Lauren from Lorette for sending this picture in. Nice nap out by the flower bed. You can send your pictures to talkback@cbc.ca. So that haze persisting as we get through the weekend. 26 degrees tomorrow afternoon in Winnipeg, seasonal for this time of the year. Another hazy one on Sunday, 28 degrees. Looking at that air quality health index up around 8-9 for Saturday, maybe a bit less into Sunday, but certainly that haze sticking around. Some showers moving through Monday, tapering off on Tuesday, and we stay below seasonal all the way till Thursday. Well, you may have seen little free libraries in your neighborhood. I know I've seen some on my walks. Take a book, leave a book. Sometimes it's a pantry, something like that.
But on Prince Edward Island, there's a new type of free library that's popped up. It's a flybrary where anglers can take or leave a fishing fly. Here's your daily lift.
Right back here, we just have our recent installation. We put Flybrary, it's called. So basically similar to those little community bookcases that you see at the end of people's driveways where it's take one, give one. That's a similar premise we're running here with this board here. Flybrary, so little play on words, but yeah, it should be. So if you're looking for something, you got caught in a branch or something and lost your favorite fly, there should be one there to replace it. Ideally, we want to have like a fully encased bulletin board with some watershed news and stuff and volunteer opportunities. And then we want to move that down towards where we'll see a big main sign there. Some days you'll be here and it's quite busy, and other days it's not, but starts April 15th and ends December 31st for the extended season angling period. And yeah, it'll be hopefully kind of be there through all that time period. So we'll see. You might see some flies with a couple icicles hanging off them in December.
I can definitely see some of those popping up around Manitoba.
That, because of all of the lakes we have here. But the question I have is, do you take your lucky fly? Do you leave it there for someone else to borrow?
You got to leave it. You got to leave it. Share the luck.
Exactly.
Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you back here Monday.
Have a good one.